Luocha is a very mysterious man. I don't think anyone will deny that. Yo, what up? Toshi here. What's no mystery is that the sheer value baked into his kit is simply overloaded. Let me explain. You see, Luocha is a character we knew from the very beginning was going to be as strong as he is. He does so much with so little effort. Being able to heal an ally with an elemental skill that has nearly triple the healing of Natasha's elemental skill makes him a very strong single target healer. That and his elemental skill can actually heal the ally passively every 2 turns. It's going to be very valuable because this allows Luocha to skip the turn with using his elemental skill, so he becomes a very skill neutral healer. His ultimate allows him to remove a buff from every single enemy and he deals imaginary damage. The very important part about his ultimate is the fact that it removes a buff. So the only other character that I can think of that removes a buff in the game currently is going to be Pela, but that is on a single elemental skill that hits one enemy. Having an AoE dispel makes him very valuable because it allows him to help seal whenever you fight the Mara struck enemies. You know how frustrating it is to use seal against those enemies anyways. Luocha's talent, Abyss Flower, allows him to passively heal the team. Passively meaning whenever the allies attacks the enemy when they have the Abyss Flower buff, it allows them to heal. It's going to be pretty much, think of it like a vampire lifesteal buff essentially. Whenever you do damage to the enemy, you will be healing. It's going to be very nice because it scales based on Luocha's attack, which makes it very valuable. Luocha also does have built-in crowd control resistance, which is really good. I didn't expect this to be carried over from the CBT to the launch of the game, but the fact that it carried over to the launch of the game makes him a much more valuable character. This is really good because ideally for all of your healers and cleansers, characters like Bronya, characters like Natasha, Bailu even, you want to have effect resistance. The reason why I say effect resistance is because they either cleanse or heal. Any character that cleanses or heals needs to cleanse or heal. If they can't cleanse or heal because they're debuffed themselves, maybe they're stunned or they're imprisoned, you won't be able to use your skills to heal or cleanse your allies, which makes that character useless. But for a character that gets pretty much 70% crowd control resist for free, it makes him a much more easier and valuable character. The reason why I say easier to build, I should say, is because you can give him crit rate and crit damage now because he has built-in resistances. Built-in resistances allows this character to ignore the fact that he has to build effective resistance to resist debuffs, and you can just build him as a hybrid healer. Crit rate, crit damage, attack, HP. The trial version did give him quite a bit of HP, which is nice to see. He does also have quite a bit of attack, and then some crit rate and crit damage would help balance out the stats to where you do damage, you heal, you tank a little bit, and you don't get crowd controlled. Very good, very good. He also further gives another lifesteal vampire buff essentially whenever the allies attack the enemy, which gives more passive healing. This is very important to keep in mind because there's going to be a bunch of times where you don't necessarily have to use his elemental skill, so then he becomes a very skill point positive healer. Let me explain. So Luocha doesn't really have the highest base speed in the game. It is slightly higher than Bronya's, but 101 isn't really going to outspeed anything with speed boots. However, the one thing to keep in mind is the fact of the matter is whenever you do have speed boots and you have Luocha's 5-star best in slot light code, that gives you 12 speed whenever you use your ultimate. It's very valuable because not only does that 12 speed allow you to move more in a turn order, but if we take a look back at his elemental skill, you'll essentially be able to refresh the effect and constantly get this up so that you'll be able to passively heal the allies without then using the elemental skill, depending on how fast your team is. Now, a character that comes to mind that would work really well with Luocha is Asta. Let me explain. Asta comes to mind, and it's not just because she's one of my favorite characters in the game, but the fact of the matter is she works really, okay, maybe it is because she's my favorite character, one of my favorite characters in the game, but anyways, she works really well with Luocha because of the speed increase and the attack increase she gives. Let me explain. Your talent allows you to give allies attack increase whenever you stack it with either your basic attack or your elemental skill. Each charging stack Asta has allows her to give extra attack to all the allies. For a character like Luocha who heals based off of his base attack, his max attack, You get more attack with Asta, which in turn gives more healing to the team, and on top of that, allows him to do much more damage because he is a hybrid healer. His basic attack and his ultimate both do damage. Asta also gives a speed increase for 2 turns. The reason why the speed increase for 2 turns really matters is because if you take a character like Luocha, whose elemental skill is passive, pretty much refreshes every 2 turns, well, it synchronizes very well with Asta's ultimate skill, who you can have a bunch of uptime on depending on how, much energy restoration your Asta has. Because of that, and the fact that I actually took those 2 things into consideration, makes me kind of want to roll for Luocha just to see how valuable these 2 characters are going to be together. But only time will tell. But I don't want to overwhelm you all with a bunch of information. Luocha is a very valuable character. He cleanses, he heals, he can do damage because he scales his healing and his damage based off of attack, which allows him to be built different than the other current abundance characters we have. He also dispels buffs from the enemies, which allows him to work very well with Seal, who wants to fight Mara-struck enemies. There's really no reason to not know why they actually put that in Luocha's kit. I mean, maybe the synergy with Seal was something they took into consideration. Hoyoverse. Create the problem, solve the solution. That's like their other motto. While also being able to dispel a debuff from an ally, which makes him a pretty much direct upgrade from Natasha. He's essentially a 5-star Natasha that can do everything Natasha wants to do but better, which is okay because Natasha we get for free. And I think a limited character should have the strength he has, because it makes it to where the people that want a character or to get a new character will have a much better character, and the people that are already going for said character are going to be very satisfied with the character. And lastly, I do always recognize that he is imaginary element, but in a future video, we'll go over why the imaginary is very important for Luocha, and we'll show the synergy it has with the character and the other characters in said team comp, but that will be a different video. So that pretty much sums it up. I think Luocha is I know he is a very strong and very valuable healer. The fact of the matter is, he does more than just heal, and I think that should set the precedent for future characters to come. He dispels debuffs from allies, he dispels buffs from enemies, and he does damage. What more could you ask from a healer? And I do understand that he gets more crazy with his constellations, and we didn't really take into consideration everything his light cone provides, but I don't want to overwhelm you with a ton of information. Trust me, another video is on the way. Twitch.tv/Toshi, the link will be in the description. Let me know how your Luocha pulls went. Best of luck to you, to those of you pulling, and to those of you not pulling, don't worry. There is more characters on the way, and if you're like one of the Kafka oneers, I'm sure those people are not even phased at this point. Thank you for watching, and have a nice rest of your day. Peace.